Hey everyone, beautiful souls. I just thought I'd jump on here. My higher guidance told me to jump on here. Just got out of the shower. I'm just kind of fresh and raw. And I haven't had a very good last few days. Oh no, I probably shouldn't say it like that. It's all been amazing to release. But I think it's important that sometimes we come on when we're not all having high vibe days. It's not all rainbows and sunshine and butterflies, and so usually I will go through stuff, and then if I choose to do a video about it and to try and help somebody, I do. And the last couple of days, I actually did a video yesterday, but then I woke up this morning and I felt that although it was pretty good, I just didn't. I'm funny about projecting stuff onto others, so I wanted to redo it, and it felt right to redo it. The one yesterday I think was more for me to sometimes get my stuff out, and then today was more to do one where I'm not projecting as much. And I feel someone out there, maybe a few of you that are watching this, need to hear this, of what an experience that I've been going through the last few days with these energies. It's all about these energies that I'm going to talk about, but just so you know that it's okay to just let it go and not attach to it, and what's coming up from the seed points at the moment. And we're all going to have different experiences because we all have different stories, in our holographic field from childhood that we have created and placed through certain external experiences that have come into our field. So i.e. things that have happened to us, things that people have said or done to us, and how we've felt at the time and attached the emotion to it, and that's created our story. So these wounded trauma, or just deep seed point, like rooted seeds that we may have done lots of, letting go and healing of that, and accepted and forgiveness, and thought, okay, I'm right now with that, and I accept that, I accept how it is, and I'm ready to move on from that. But these energies, particularly with us, the divine feminine and masculine, within each, and those light workers that are really called now to step up into their full mastery. And that doesn't mean you have to be perfect when I say full mastery, but just really own your authenticity and who you are, but not only who you are, but what you have come to this planet in this earth suit to take on, what the role you've come to play. And I know that each and every one of the 144,000, 144, and the other light workers, that we all kind of know, if we really tune into our heart and soul, what we have. Leave the external out, just tune into ourselves and come back to that connection to ourselves. And you'll hear very quickly, you'll know, your higher will be very quick to show you your role. And although a lot of us know that, I see a lot of people say, oh, what is it, but you know. And I see that there's an astrologer that I follow on and off, Elizabeth Peru from South Australia. She's gorgeous. She's been on her path for doing the work she does out there for over 20 years. And I've listened to a lot of other astrologers in the world, but she's so spot on, and she's so beautiful the way she presents it from her authenticity. And so she's been talking about the energies, and I realized about a week after I had that first call out to light workers and energy healers and planetary activators, and thank you so much, guys. I will thank you a little and talk about that in a minute. But thank you so much for coming with me and taking and listening to that call that I put out, which was another part of me stepping into my sovereignty more, because I've never done anything like that. So thank you for that. But I noticed after we started doing that, and after the first one, she does a weekly video on YouTube, and I noticed that she actually put a call out, she entitled it something like call to empaths, light workers, it might not have been planetary activators, but something like that. Like, it's time to step up now, and I'm really speaking to you. And I'm like, oh, wow. So it really is the energy. So for me, lots of times I don't really question why I'm being guided to do things. I just do them, and then just realize that, you know, I guess some people might say, you know, you're a bit naive in doing that. But I believe that humans, the biggest downfall for humans is that they've always got to know everything and know why and analyze it. And I used to be a big analyzer, trust me. And they've got to have an answer for everything, and they've got to, before they action it, or they've got to, you know, dissect every little thing, and that's what gets them into trouble. That's where they're in their head too much, in their ego, and they're not coming from their higher wisdom and guidance. You don't need to know. You just need to connect. Connect. Be really in alignment and balance with our intuition and our guidance and our higher aspect of ourselves and the messages that come through, and act upon that and see what happens. You know, again, humans want to see everything with their two physical eyes before they action anything, out of fear, out of, oh God, I've got to see what the outcome is before I do that, or because that might hurt, or, you know, I can't take that leap of faith because, oh shit, what if something happens and, you know, that goes tits up and it's not really good for me, or, you know, got to have that leap of faith. And if you're coming from your heart and soul, it'll always work out. If you're coming from ego and fear and doubt, and you're making actions in your external world from that, then it's going to be a shit show and things are not going to align. And, you know, I'm not filtering it today. I don't want to. So, yeah, so, you know, it takes us time, I guess, maybe to learn this, or maybe I think we really know it, but then we fight it and we go into denial and we run, or we, you know, whatever it is, or we even chase, or we think that we've got to have a certain thing before, not a certain thing. It's like you've got to take yourself out of the materialistic part of it, and the fear and the doubt, and follow your guidance, because it's all in here. And like I said, you bring it back to when you connect there, you know your path, your role, your assignment, mission, whatever someone wants to label it. You know what you've come for. And you also, if you tap into that more strongly, you actually feel, because it's all feeling, not thinking, you feel the soul you are. I knew straight away from a child I was an ancient soul, like ancient. And so, and my external world was showing me that. So everything I went to do and see, I've been here before, I've done this before, I feel like I had incarnated a million times before. You know, in school I felt like I didn't even want to listen to the teacher, because I just felt like da 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 da. You know, I knew the whole education system even then without knowing what to name it. I felt it was indoctrinated, and it was just, you know, a whole lot of stuff I knew as a child, but it wasn't until I obviously got older and then had my full awakening with a lot of things that I always knew I was here for a reason, to bring a different, I probably didn't even know it was to call it like light and love then, you know, but anyway, I'm not going to get into that, but bringing it back to the energies at the moment, there is a reason why these things are coming up in us, because it's like the final core rooted things to remove. And that doesn't mean we have to attach to them and go into a whole spiral down the rabbit hole, you know, situation with it, and, you know, and cling to that, or it's just that we feel it, and there might be some things we have to question about it. So, interestingly, and before, I just want to give my example, because I realize people, you know, your time is precious, and I thank you so much for being here, listening to me, and extending that energy to listen to me. But I really think you will get something from this as I share my experience, because there is a greater that I'm going to talk about, even alignment of how my movie now that I've written has come into alignment with the work that I've been doing. So I just want to say, though, an experience. So for me, what the energy I felt, and I want to say the final, because my higher guidance, my higher self saying, yeah, we've been working on this for a long time. And I thought I had aced it, you know, but what I still had some remnants there, and that was affecting me stepping fully in, more into my mastery and sovereignty. And which obviously, anything that if you're not stepping fully into your authenticity, your sovereignty, your mastery, there is a lack of worthiness still in there somewhere, or there's a lack of something in there. It's a lack energy, right? It's not an abundant energy. And until we really master that abundant energy, we're not in a frequency coming from lack, then that's when everything can align. So for me, it's always been a little bit of a hiccup that, and I'm going to try and say it quick because we're 10 minutes in, but it's always been a little bit of a thing from a child for me that my words weren't heard. I have an older brother, love him dearly, love my mum. I've probably been a little bit naive to the fact that it's okay, you know, that it is what it is, you know, all that. But it really hurt me deeply, and I had worked through that over the last few years, but I probably had some remnants there, and that is that, you know, I don't know if any of you can relate, but when you have an older sibling, and particularly a brother, like a male, my generation of parents, I'm not saying that's all generation, was in that narrative of, you know, your brother knows best, he's older, he'll protect you, listen to him, he knows what he's talking about, like he's right, all of this sort of stuff. And I don't think they necessarily mean to come across that you don't know, or you're wrong, or you can't defend yourself, or what, anything like that. It's just their programming, okay? So I grew up with that, and then therefore my brother, I guess, like in hearing that, well, he took on that role, and I felt that whenever I stepped forward in because I was quite an awakened child, so obviously I'm a bit weird to the normal person, and I am a bit out there, and I'm saying things and outspoken with things that other people have probably not heard from a child before. So when I was doing that, you know, my voice wasn't really heard at all. And then obviously, because I'm saying stuff like that, it definitely wasn't heard, because like she's just interesting or different or weird, whatever. So, and some of you I know are listening to this going, yeah, I can relate to this. So I kind of adapted that programming, and I thought, well, I tried and tried, but it was like everything I did, like mum would always, and this is her coming from her programming, like ask my brother first, or is that right, or should we do it that way, or whatever. So therefore, building up over time, and this happened right into my teenage years as well, it wasn't something that was just young. I took that into my adulthood, and also I adapted then that I was second best. I carried an energy of where I thought people will always put me second best. I'm always the one that's watching people succeed or do amazing things, and I know that I can do that, but the energy of lack I carry was holding me back because of that programming of like, oh, but look, I'll probably do okay, but they'll do better. You know, it's so interesting because I remember and this is how I felt, I remember my beautiful divine masculine, you know, D, he said to me once that and I didn't realize at the time he carried the same energy, but because I was just learning everything then, but he said to me, I don't even know what led to this conversation, but he was talking and he said, I'm the type of person that if I'm standing at a race, you know, like to race at the starting line, instead of thinking like I'm going to win this race, he'll be looking at the guy next to him thinking he'll probably beat me. And that hit home to me because that's how I always felt, you know, if you're at school running a race, whatever, in athletics, whatever, I wasn't the girl that grew up thinking that I could lead, even though I knew from my soul that I was here as a leader. So, but you know, at the time I think I was just thinking I'm here as a leader with my strange shit that nobody understands. So how am I going to lead? I couldn't put it all together then when I was a kid or a teenager. So that's that example of what I gave that he said is kind of how I felt, and that leads to then you can understand how I, which is really significant because we do mirror each other in these beautiful divine partnerships. But we also teach each other, so much with things, and we can also have parts to us that are exactly the same, and then we can have parts to us that are the opposite, because those parts then one has that the other hasn't stepped up in, and then that balances it out, if you understand what I mean. You bring different things to the union and into the love, and so to being that love. So anyway, this is what I've been realizing, and for me to clear that extra, like that base root of it out more, I've had to have that experience again. And so here goes into my experience over the last couple of days. So I am currently still staying in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, which that in itself has been very testing and challenging, because I'm living, those overseas have probably heard of us. We are living in a state where we've had the longest lockdowns ever in the world, plus the harshest lockdown rules. Things like have not been able to go more than 5 kilometres for nearly the past 18 months on and off. Curfew of 9 p.m, all this sort of stuff, not going to get into it all, but it's been interesting over the last 18 months, and we've had periods where obviously as a sensitive empath and being in the collective of it all, I wake up and I would feel, oh my God, what's that energy? It's so depressing and dense and dark. And then I'd go, oh yeah, we went back into lockdown last night, and I'm tapping into it all, and I've had to really, it's certainly helped me advance my abilities to be able to navigate energy, and I already was pretty good at it. So anyway, but I normally live in Bali. I've been going back and forth to Bali, and for those of you that didn't know, and I was about to I'd found a rental property that I was about to put payment down for 12 months on, and before I bought in Bali, and that was meant to be my 2020, and I was so excited about that, and then that didn't happen because the shit show started at the start of the year, as you know. So but that is, we all know that's from a higher purpose, and that's really helped so many people change and evolve and awaken and all of that. So we are grateful to so many things that has helped do. But anyway, so I was going through bouts of like, oh my God, what am I still doing here? Like, how did I get stuck in the most lockdown place in the world? And I'm like, okay, there's something in this for me that I've got to work through, because I'm in the state that's locked down. And I'm also, though, in the state that has protested and spoken up and has had to face not just being indoctrinated with a lot of things, where there's a lot of other states that have just cowered down and gone, okay, well, that's great, we don't have to wear masks, and we can go out to restaurants and we can still live life, and ha ha ha, you can't but we can. But their turn will come, but it's just in that state. But it's like they're again just being controlled more. So sorry, I was just reading a message. And so, one sec. So I'm back. Sorry about that. I just had to answer that message. So yeah, interesting though that I was cut off a little bit at that time. So yeah, I won't get into that, but I knew that there was also like various different reasons, and that I was still in Australia, leading the light activation. But anyway, so, and I'm staying with my mum because I didn't have a base in Australia anymore because I was living in Bali. So back I come here, and I must say my mum, though, has evolved so much. She's very awakened, and living with me, you know, on and off, she has had to be over the last couple of years, and otherwise it would have been tricky. And but mum is quite angelic. She's really in tune with her intuition and always has been. And so she sort of gets it anyway, and then but she still carries like energy and a bit of victimhood if I've tried to say something. So I've had many open conversations about all of this, and I've got to the point where I've just, okay, it is what it is. And so, but Spirit had me this week say, no, it's not what it is. We are going to, a lot of people can go, whatever, it's okay. And it's more that, not give in energy, but like, I'm just going to let it go. And I thought I was neutralizing it, but there was still a part in me that felt sad about it, that felt like I felt like I wanted to be recognized more and honored and respected. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever I'm bringing into my field is where I am, what I'm emitting, and what, because it can't be any other way. Whatever we are experiencing in our reality, in our external reality, we still carry a fragment of that in the energy field to be able to attract that to us. Otherwise, we couldn't possibly. You can't attract an energy that you don't hold within you. So, and it might show up differently in imagery because there's no imagery to energy, only the imagery we give it. So you might say, oh no, I don't agree with that because of X, Y, Z, but there can't be any other way, the way energy works, but the imagery can be different. So anyway, let's get on with this. Long story short, over the vaccination, you know, I'm not vaccinated. My brother's double vaccinated. My mum doesn't want to get vaccinated. My brother's been asking her to please get vaccinated, blah, 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 blah. And so she's sort of on the fence about it. And she realizes at her age, and the reason I'm talking about this is not actually really anything to do about the vaccination. That's just the imagery, you know. It's about what's come up. And what came up yesterday was that my brother knows sort of my path and has honoured and respected my beliefs and blah, blah, blah. But he is on a different path, and that's fine. And we both actually had a discussion about this last year, or the start of this year, about the whole thing. And we just agreed to honour each other's beliefs about it all. Like, he doesn't have any fear around any of it. That's not why he got the vaccination. He just wants to travel because he lives most of his life overseas. So he just wants to get back over there. So it's just like, I'll do what I can to get my freedom back. So whereas when it comes to my mother, he had an underlying fear of at her age of getting it. And he was using things like, look, because he takes her to Greece every year. So, okay, Mum, if you don't get it, I can't take you to Greece. And then when it started to look like that these vaccination passports may not happen after all in different countries and different things, he's like, well, even if it doesn't, I don't feel comfortable taking you in case there's an outbreak and you get it. And that these are all like a manipulation little things, you know, but we as humans, we have our own fears that we operate from. So we're not even realizing that they're manipulation tactics. So then yesterday she had him on speakerphone, and he was asking, have you booked in, and blah, blah, blah. And then came these responses, and he went into this masculine energy, and he didn't know I could hear because it was on speakerphone. And he went into this masculine energy of, look, Callie better not be, you know, talking all this stuff and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I had to come into the room, and I said, Mum, tell him your truth. Stand in your truth. I'm not saying anything. You want to get it, get it. You know, I'm neutral about it. I don't tell people what to do. But she wasn't telling him that she'd been reading a whole lot of stuff, that why she didn't want to get it. Anyway, as I said, it's not really about that. It's about the fact that this brought up then this thing. And she had to face him of telling her truth and not just going along with what he wanted. And in the end, it turned out okay. We had a discussion about it as a family, and he said, look, at the end of the day, you do what you feel more comfortable doing. I'll do what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. This is a scenario sort of thing. So the thing is with that, is that it also helped me to stand up to my brother as well, and not just give in, which I've done a lot of times, and say no, you know, look, hey. And the thing is, that really, it may have seemed like just a little thing, and that how did that like really show me things, but it showed me actually that I finally didn't need any validation from anyone to be the full expression of myself and my soul, to be in my mastery and my power of who I am. I think I was waiting for my family or friends or whatever, not really even my friends actually, but I was, because I don't really have any. I have a couple, but, and they honor me, you know, so, but I think it was more this mother situation from childhood, because I didn't have them then in that childhood, so that's where it was coming from. And I had to realize I don't have to impress anyone. And when we feel that we've got to impress, or we're still carrying that energy of wanting validation from those that we love so much, that's when we're not really stepping into our power, because it still comes from a lack of energy. We don't need anybody, family, friend, to validate our path, to validate our soul, to validate our light, to validate our mastery, to validate what we are creating on that path of mastery. To, you know, we just need ourselves to trust and believe and honor and know in ourselves and respect ourselves and our path and our assignment and our light and our, you know, our divinity, because we know everyone's at different states of consciousness, different levels of consciousness, and we can't sit around and wait for people to get it to then go, oh, right, you got it now? Okay, well, now I'll step up and do what I'm here to do. No, we just have to do it. And these energies are so powerful in bringing that to the forefront. So whatever story you're carrying, it could be completely different to mine. That's just imagery. But whatever you're carrying in the energy of lack, of why is stopping you fully stepping into your mastery and power fully. And it's not even about going, I'm hearing it's not even about going, you know, oh, I don't give a shit, like what people say. It's to even say, I don't give a shit what people say, you do give a shit what people say, because you wouldn't be saying it. That wouldn't even be in your thoughts. That wouldn't even be in your field still. You would not even be thinking of like, do I give a shit what people say? You know, do I give a shit what people say? So it's, and for me, it hasn't been that for a long time. It's been more, because I used to worry what people say. It's been more now stepping into my power and being heard. So because I never felt heard from family members, like I discussed in the earlier part of this video, that I carried forth, and that made it more challenging and difficult for me to own my power, own my authenticity and step into it, and own my sovereignty and master that and bring that through my creations. Which leads me to about 4 weeks ago, I just let everything go. And I'm like, and I didn't put the pressure on myself to be or bring anything in particular, just being my light and being unapologetically me, and going, that's okay. I had that wounding, and loving that and nurturing myself through that, which I teach that we do, you know, I teach to everybody from, you know, through my course and everything. I, about 4 weeks ago, let go of all that, and then things started to happen. And which leads me to chatting, and I guess this video is going to go a while, so I'll chat briefly. But I've been sort of off grid a lot with you know, and doing one-on-one sessions and healings and stuff the last couple of years because I've been writing. A lot of you probably know I'm a writer as well. Maybe some of you don't. And I know that's a big part I've known since I was a teenager, that that's a big part of my path, but I didn't know how that would come through. And I'm honest in that I don't think I'm a fantastic writer. You know, some people say I'm a good writer. I don't think I'm definitely not the best in the world, but I think it's not about being great at it. It's about being able to bring through your wisdom, the codes, the activation within that writing. And so I wrote my first movie script because my daughter said, "Hey, Mum, why don't you write a movie script?" She lives in LA. She's a director and producer, and so she's here on her path to bring in a lot of conscious creations and content in the entertainment industry. And so I said, okay. So I wrote this movie. Wrote my first screenplay. Can't really talk about it much or give away the title yet, but it's all about connection. It's a very conscious creation, and it's written the dialogue in a way where people that are even just watching it and may not get the deeper meaning, it's encoded with a lot of beautiful highlight codes and activations for them. So whether they're watching it in the movie theatre or wherever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it had been shown to many various producers and things like that in the industry, and everyone loved it. Everyone loved it. They're like, wow, I've not seen anything like this ever before. And they loved it. And so we actually got funding for it at the start of 2020, and then we lost the funding due to Corona, and then we got funding again at the start of this year, and we lost it again. And at the time, I was still in an energy of wanting to make this happen because I knew it was part of our path, you know, my beautiful love and I. And but at the same time, I think I was just attaching to it. You know, sometimes, again, if we're not ready in our mastery of that creation, again, not to be perfect or anything when I say this, because I think people think when you're talking things like that, they've got to be this great, like show they're this great, incredible light being, and that's not the case. It's all within, being more natural, being more authentic, just coming back to that no matter how that comes out, but being your authenticity, or authenticity, that is your mastery. And so, you know, and leading from your heart and soul and not your ego. So, you know, I mean, sometimes I do take the elevator to the ego floor. We're human. And then I try and take it into the heart again. So, and that's what I was doing. So then I I let go, and I realized that the timing wasn't right. And then I had another healer and reader say to me through someone else that the people that were attached to the project, the movie, cast and crew, they've also got to be vibrationally aligned with it to bring that through. So there was a whole other sort of stuff going on, and I realized that Spirit would have it happen, Creator would have it happen when it's meant to happen. So I let go of it all, and I actually, about 4 weeks ago, you know, I fully just said, you know what, it's okay if the movie never gets made. I don't care. Whatever happens, I'm just letting go of it all. Whatever happens, happens. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, because I obviously became more in alignment with my sovereignty too, that's when I started really stepping up more, and just in my authenticity and being me. All of a sudden, out of the blue, the opportunity arose again for us to get funding, possibly, and to be able to film it next year. And I didn't run with it and go, oh my God, you know, attached to it. I just went, oh, cool, okay, cool. If it happens, it happens. Cool. And then within like 2 days, another project that I wrote in 2015 that is now being turned into a 10-part docuseries about the planet and the world and humanity was like, oh my God, I love, like it got picked up and we got the funding for it. And I'm like, that's cool. That's pretty cool. Okay. And I just didn't get over attached to it. And then the casting director we've got for my movie, she's so gorgeous and she stuck with us all the way through. She just, out of the blue, said to us, you do realize that this movie is an Oscar-winning movie. If these actors give the performance, this is brilliant. This script is brilliant. Now, she'd read the script last year, the start of this year. She'd said it was amazing. Everyone said it was amazing, but she just all of a sudden came out of the blue and felt drawn to tell us this script is brilliant and this is an Oscar-winning movie. And I'm like, for me, cool, that's amazing, because it's not about the accolades of an Oscar-winning movie. It's that if it reaches more people. Because there's still a lot of humanity that live in a world of that coming from, that old template of, well, if people talk about it and it's out there and they say it's good, I'll go and watch it, and that's how things get around. So I'm like, that's cool. So all of a sudden, and a few other things lined up, and it's like, well, as soon as I let go and when it's okay, I'm good enough. I don't need validation. I don't need to impress. I don't need to show people, hey, come and have a look at my light. I just need to be me. And then you attract that respect and that honor from others. And when you're trying to push it onto somebody, you don't get it, even though you might know you have it. But if you're pushing it on and you feel you've got to be out there always talking about it and more than being in it, then you're still coming from a seed point of lack, because you're seeking some type of validation or some type of approval. So that all comes together in the energies, everything I've spoken about, and that's part of us just letting go and being. And it's not really stepping into anything, it's just being the love and light and mastery that we already are, that authentic being. Obviously wisdom has a big part of it. Tap into your wisdom, tap into what you already know and bring that through. God, I'm having a bad hair day today, but who cares? Just got out of the shower. But that's the thing. There was a time where I would never hop on a video like this and go, oh God, I haven't even done this or that, or the lighting's not right, and I don't care anymore. It is what it is, So that's what I wanted to share, that to get to the bigger picture, to get to the point of removing that seed. And once you start to do that, you see the things in your life that you may have been trying to create just unfold. And I'm still saying I'm having a day-to-day where I am feeling like I want to hibernate a bit today, like I'm not feeling out there. So I'm still releasing, that energy. But I'm so in gratitude and feel so blessed that I have discovered the deeper, because I didn't think there was still stuff in there. And when we can really just let go and go, well, it is what it is, and these energies, like I was saying, they are bringing up anything because they're really pushing us to step into our sovereignty and just shine our light so much brighter. And yeah, that's what's happening at the moment. So it is what it is. And I have opportunity. I feel, it's time for me to move on, leave, like Victoria. And even though it's quite difficult from the external at the moment, I let that go. And I say it is what it is, because people were saying to me, you know, months ago, oh, but you can't leave at the moment and blah, blah, blah. And I'd say, hey, I don't work like that. If spirit wants me somewhere else, you know. So once I let go of that and jumping into the whole, yeah, how would I leave, blah, 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 because I don't know if you people, you know overseas as well, but we've not been able to cross borders, so our borders are closed to each other. So, yeah, it's a lot of commie stuff, a lot of communist stuff. So I just know that the opportunity will happen. And then as soon as I let go of any of that narrative, I had an opportunity arise where I can, because we can leave Australia, because our citizens are not allowed to leave Australia either for certain reasons. And then it came up for me, I can go back to Bali, because if I want to, because I can actually, I can get the visa to be able to leave, and the reason to leave the country. I can also move to America if I want to, because I have that as well. And I'm able to get a visa. And so I have options, and I may move to Queensland. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that when we let go of our limiting beliefs of what's currently in the external that is projected upon us every day, day in, day out, like it opens the higher, you know, and for us to not be blocked off to that coming in, opens that door, opens that portal, you know. So again, another lesson in letting go of limiting beliefs and stories, because while we hold them in our holographic field, like we're vibrating, there's part of us that's vibrating at that frequency, and we're not going to bring in that higher energy, that higher consciousness, that higher awareness, that higher knowing, that higher wisdom, but also the higher in our reality, the higher experience in our reality. We're going to stay in the experience of this. So try and neutralize everything that comes up. Try and just see it as a, just neutralizing that, come into centered and balanced, alchemize that, whatever language you want to use. Don't get attached to it. Don't bring a fear into it. And you move through it so much faster. Anyway, that was my story today. And again, thank you so much to those of you that have been doing the light work with us. We're going to do it every 2 weeks, and next one will be next week. I'm filming this today, September the 20... What is it today? Or is it the 24th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th? It's the 30th today. It's the 30th. Wow, 30th of October. I'm filming this. So we will do that. So it's Thursday in Australia, the 30th. So we will do that probably next Wednesday, but I'll put another little video out anyway before then. So... okay, guys, sorry for the long one. Hope you got something out of it. I think it's important too for us to express, to share. And I've never been the spiritual teacher, leader, guide that has always come from just light and love and all fluff and bubbles anyway, because it's so important. I mean, I specialize in inner child healing, you know, and it's to get to the deep, to pull it out, and to transmit that. We are, as we know, we are transmitting a lot of old timelines, as I was talking about, and we have had these same experiences ourselves as coming up from our soul all the time. So we're transmuting that, and we're transmuting a lot of also energies and frequencies and timelines that others have experienced. So as the forerunners, so that's what's happening, and so it's just important for us also to express and put it out there, and so don't be shy. Okay, I'm going to go and do some writing now, and I am currently putting my course into a book, and I think I might have mentioned I picked up this book, Louise Hay. Do you guys know Louise Hay? I picked up this book because my daughter had it and had left it at her dad's house, and I I just picked it up because I was in the middle of writing mine, and Louise, she came through to me, she channeled, and she was chatting to me about my course, because she's passed over now, and she's helping from the higher realms, and so she's like, you know, make it more colourful and vibrant, and yeah, and I spoke to a friend and I showed her this book, and I'm like, Louise came through to me, and we were chatting about my course and how I could really, you know, because I can get a bit serious sometimes about the work, you know, and she's like, you know, because she reminded me that humans have not a very long attention span, so to bring more fun into it, I guess, and stuff like that, and then they will read longer and they'll really take it in. And so anyway, I was telling my friend, and on a Zoom call, and she said, oh, she said, I remember reading that book, but it didn't look as colourful to me, you know, so I don't know, it's just the one that I've got, and it's so beautiful, and I've never read self-help books or anything like that, and I know, you know, I know everyone puts them out, so this for me was different, to put it out in a book, like to put my course out in a book, and so I'm excited to bring that too and put that out there, and I'm trying to work hard on getting it finished, but you know, for me, when I write, I have to really be in that energy, in the zone, you know. So anyway, I'm having a writing day today, and so I better get off here. So talk to you guys soon. My book, my course is called Raise to Your Divine Self. So that's what the book's going to be called as well. So I really want to try and get it happening. And yeah, all right. So love you guys, and talk to you soon. Take care, and just be kind to yourself.